The NBA is witnessing an insane comeback story by AM Hoops. This is about Dennis Smith Jr., my dog. Now I know. I mean, it's on my Instagram page, but I'm saying,
boy, keep doing your thing, bro.
Let it run back. Let it run back. Let it run back. Let it run back.
Shout out to Nick's Clique, man. That's you. Don't matter, man. Boy, man. Keep doing your thing, bro. Keep doing your thing, bro. Thank you, bro. Huh?
That's one of the cooler interactions I've had with a player, especially because that was before YouTube as well. That was back when I was just a little Knicks page or whatever. So I've always been a supporter of Dennis. I like Dennis when he got drafted. I like a lot of NBA players, and like when the draft comes around, even if our team picks a player, my Knicks they pick a player, whatever. I'm going to root for the player we pick. I'm gonna root for the players that we didn't pick that I liked. The year that we didn't draft Donovan, I liked Donovan. And Dennis, and I liked whatever. So like he was cooking. We traded for him the night after he dropped a triple-double for Porzingis. All that whole situation is crazy still. That was one of the most wild days I've ever had in my life. Especially because, like I said, I was running that page at the time and was one of the bigger fan pages of the Knicks on Instagram and all that stuff. And that was interesting. And Porzingis was like the forsaken child. Obviously this dude's he's about to say all this stuff in the video probably. But yeah, it was crazy actually. I was about to make a video, no lie. I'll get like these like random like spurts of inspiration where I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll make like a freelance NBA video where like I'll actually just talk about something instead of like not just like that. I've only been doing this reaction channel, but like for like 2-3 months now. But like, oh yeah, let me just do a random NBA video. And I was thinking about doing one about Dennis because I do view Dennis, so like I just like Dennis. But yeah, I've been cool with Dennis. I've talked to him in DM sometimes. A couple of the Dreamville dudes. So yeah, no, but I was gonna do a video about Dennis, talking about what the hell happened. And here he is. I'm happy, pleasantly surprised that he's actually back now. And now this video is made. So let's watch. It says 530K views. Jesus.
He was once the best point guard in the country. NBA
Yeah, I don't think Giannis can finish his career at least top 10. I think he could.
players went to his high school games, but Dennis Smith Jr. failed so miserably, he was out of the league at 24 years old. It got so ugly, his own crowd was chanting for his backup.
And the chant of "We want Frank."
Okay, it's just funny because it's Frank. It's just funny.
Dennis
But wait. That was more. Yo, okay, I'll say it right now, right? People gonna remember this now, right? Being a Knicks fan throughout the darkest times is with the Knicks fan page is so much fun. I'll always say it. People are like, oh yeah, you a Knicks fan? Why are you a Knicks fan? Obviously, because I'm a Knicks fan because I'm just in New York and I'm whatever, born here, whatever, and then became a Knicks fan. But bro, so much fun, dog. And it's Cantor kissing the logo, the Porzingis trade, that insanity. Yo, Summer Hayes, chill out. Yo, do I gotta ban you as a mod? What's it called? And it's Cantor, kiss in the middle of the court. Kristaps Porzingis getting traded. Carmelo Anthony, the whole no trade clause saga. They said he was at the 5-yard line to go to the Thunder. They said no, never mind. He's not going to the Thunder. Or my bad, to the who was it? The Cavs? The Cavs. Yeah, it was the Cavs. That whole thing. Then you have the Derrick Rose thing, Joakim Noah. That was around the time I started. Just so much fun. When Cantor dunked on Boogie. Bro, Boogie tweaked out, had a seizure at half court. Cantor runs back down the other way. Cantor, when Frank and LeBron and Cantor and all of them were beefing in the middle of the game, and that game was nuts. Kyle Korver torched us. So this whole saga was so much fun. Honestly, I saw it was crazy. I saw a video. I got tagged in a video or something like that of the 2017-18 Knicks. And they were like, this is actually a really fun team, even though they were that team was so much. Well, because I was here before Porzingis got injured. That team was so much fun. We were falling off regardless. See, that's why I don't like the Knicks hate all the time. It just makes me sad because I never view the Knicks in a negative light, even if things are going negatively. I just always am gonna like watching it. Like I'm always just gonna enjoy it. Like whether negative or positive, it doesn't have to be negative. I just enjoy the actions. It's like watching a reality TV show. So like when people say in the chat, Knicks will be Knicks, I have the urge to ban you because I still like the Knicks even when they're quote unquote bad. So like, well, they're bad. But like, so that's how I view them personally. It was always fun to just have something to look forward to, whether crazy or not. But yeah, so that's bro. One time Courtney Lee went to go shoot a game winner. And the Wizards assistant coach, I forgot his name, like nearly blocked his shot and then got fined for it afterwards. I forgot what his name was. or it was something like that. Was stepping on the court, was like in his way.
Basically gave up. He put on a bunch of weight to try out for the NFL, but suddenly is starting in the NBA, locking down Steph Curry. So how is Dennis Smith Jr. making the most inspiring comeback in the NBA? But first, today's sponsor, Hoops, wins deposit 50. Age 10. His first in-game dunk was a windmill at age 11. We have the video to prove it. As a junior in high school,
Wait, that video was at 11?
in-game dunk was a windmill at age 11. We had the
Yo, he's disgusting. Yo, he's disgusting.
video to prove it. As a junior in high school, he won Gatorade Player of the Year in North Carolina, but tore his ACL before senior year. But he was dunking again in 2 months, because it turns out he was born with 2 ACLs in that knee. So as a college freshman, he won
Wait, what?
born senior year. But he was the year in North Carolina, but tore his ACL before senior year. But he was dunking again in 2 months, because it turns out he was born with 2 ACLs in that knee. So as a college freshman, he won ACC Rookie of the Year and was ready for the draft. Many people thought the Knicks would take him at 8th overall because they needed a point guard, but instead they took Frank Ntilikina, and Dennis fell to the Mavericks at 9th. At the time, LeBron said the Knicks passed on a really good one. And
that was fun. That was, I actually wasn't fun because I mean, because like, well, I don't know.
Dallas got the diamond in the rough.
As good as he's playing now, he was still like wrong. I mean, I love Dennis, love Frank, but
he should be a Knick. But Dennis joined the Mavs, who still really didn't have a direction.
He was cooking early on, though.
Smith made the all-rookie team as their second best scorer, but everything changed when they drafted Luka Doncic the next year. Luka and Dennis competed for playing time, but they were close friends off the court. They lived in the same apartment building, they played video games together, and Dennis made sure to show Luka around town. But then, head coach Rick Carlisle didn't see it that way. He embarrassed Dennis in front of the team. ESPN reported multiple players were shocked during a team meeting when Carlisle accused Smith of being jealous of Doncic. The players considered it incredibly unfair to Smith, who wasn't playing well but was making an honest effort to mesh with Doncic on the court. Doncic particularly resented what he perceived as Carlisle's attempt to pit him against his friend and teammate. Carlisle was known to do stuff like that. He famously beefed with point guards like Jason Kidd and Rajon Rondo.
Though I was just about to say the Rondo one, dog. The Rondo one, I remember hearing the rumors about that, but I never remember hearing a direct source of that story. That's a crazy story. The Rondo beef, oh, that's like that, like Vietnam. That man Rondo came there and immediately was beefing with him. He was there for 10 minutes and fought him in the hotel lobby or something.
But Dennis didn't have the clout that those other players had. It got so bad, he was traded to the Knicks for Kristaps Porzingis, which was great, honestly, because it was a fresh start in a place he should have been anyway. In 21 games after,
and he was fired those first couple games. That beginning of the let's see what he talks about.
Dennis averaged 15 points, but in year 2, everything fell apart. Injuries started to pile up and it affected his play. People were so upset. They traded an all-star in Porzingis for some young backup and they blamed it on Dennis. It got so bad, 3 games in, fans were chanting to bench him.
And the chant of "We want Frank."
Okay, so they were chanting "We want Frank," though. To be fair, it is always fun being from the inside looking out because I always, yes, Dennis was playing bad, and yes, this was also very bad, and I would have never partook in this as a person because Dennis went especially bad early on in the season for a few reasons. Okay, the offseason prior, his first offseason ever with the Knicks, Dennis started working out with Keith Smart. He was a Knicks assistant coach at the time. Keith Smart made that man go through the most rigorous, stupid, awful shooting drills and quite literally made his jump shot 10 times worse at the time. So that was insane. Then on top of that, Dennis's, who he was close to, I remember early on I wanted to like keep it as a touchy subject when it was first happening because like it was like sparingly like reported. But his stepmom, who he was close to, had died at the beginning of the season. And obviously, there you go. There's another thing on the plate. So he gets, you know what I'm saying, worse in talent. He's not there mentally. And it was like right at the beginning of the season, he had missed the first week or two due to what's it called? Just due to like personal reasons or whatever. Comes back. This is only like one of his first games back. And Frank, this is the thing, right? The Frank lore is that Frank got drafted in 2017. Obviously, this is 2019 at the time, late 2019. So we're going into Frank and Dennis's third year. And Frank had been benched behind Jarrett Jack, Emmanuel Mudiay, now Dennis Smith Jr., Ramon Sessions, not Alec. Was this the year Hazonia? I don't know. It was either before or after. I think this was the year after Hazonia. Screw it. Throw everybody in there. They could have put Enes Kanter starting at point guard over Frank. They never wanted to give Frank an opportunity. And Frank, obviously, considering the fact that he's still on the Mavericks and was playing deep into the playoffs last year, even if he did airball like 3 threes in that one game, has decent value. I think I said Jarrett Jack, but Jarrett Jack was a cool one though, because I will screw it, whatever. We're not getting that deep into the lore. Because he's really good at. He's genuinely one of the best defenders in the league. It's just the what's it called? The same way they talk about Kevin Knox with like motor and stuff. His, you know, it's like drive and intensity and all this. He's a little bit off. This is my dog, but he a little bit, you know, not there all the way, like in terms of his just like his fluidity in his basketball play. So that's the issue with Frank. But at the end of the day, whenever he would play, start, get a bunch of minutes, whatever, he would have a lot of good games. Never got a true opportunity. You could genuinely conspiracize that it did ruin his career, and he's still in the league to this day. So that's the issue with that. So people just wanted Frank to play because, like, Frank literally, I don't think really, he probably started less than 20 games as a point guard over 4 years with the team. So that's just very intriguing. And the cherry on top was them subbing him in for the first time in the game with 3 seconds left to guard Trae Young and get gamed because his legs hadn't moved in 4 hours against the Hawks in game 1 of the playoffs.
That's tough for a young man here from the home crowd.
The day after that game, his stepmom died, who Dennis was close to, and it crushed his emotions and his confidence. After that, he slipped a disc in his back and he was never the same again. David Fizdale was fired. Coach Tom Thibodeau stepped in.
I believe it was before, though. I believe it was before. But yeah.
Dennis was out of the rotation the next year, so he went to Tibbs and actually asked to go to the G League. They honored that request, but traded him to the Pistons for Derrick Rose. 20 games in with Detroit, he was averaging about 7 points a game.
The next year we got Quickly, and then Quickly started cooking, and Dennis was still kind of in and out. Yeah.
When he tore his meniscus. So they traded him to Portland, but after a few minor injuries, he hurt his elbow and just got cut. The crazy
he was actually doing kind of decent in Portland.
Nobody picked him up after that. This was a top 10 pick out of the league at 24 years old. Guys he was ranked higher than in high school were flourishing. Jason Tatum, Jonathan Isaac, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, Bam Adebayo. Now
Frank
no
Jackson.
one wanted Dennis Smith Jr. And you could say injuries ruined his career, but it could also be the teams he played on. It's a super underrated fact that who drafts a player can make or break his career. He just so happened to hook up with the Mavericks and the Knicks during some of their darkest seasons in franchise history. When the opposite happens, you get like a Gary Payton II last year on the Warriors or Cameron Payne on the Suns. So despite all his talent, with no one wanting him, Dennis basically gave up. He said, quote, "I told my previous agent I'm not going overseas. If shit don't work out, I'm just going to the NFL." And I was dead ass serious. I put on hella weight. I was gonna try. Dennis was a star defensive back in high school and he could have played college football. But while he put on weight, he moved to Miami and hooked up with the Taylor Sports Group, who run a program for players during the summer. While he was there, Dennis bumped into a Hornets assistant who was looking for a backup point guard. Most people expected them to sign Isaiah Thomas or Kemba Walker, but Smith played so well in
Kemba
Miami,
Walker.
he signed
I'm for sure taking Dennis Smith over Kemba Walker.
Team. And let's be honest, nobody expected anything from Dennis Smith Jr. They were shocked he even got signed. But days before the season, LaMelo Ball badly sprained his ankle. Then Terry Rozier rolled his ankle 2 games in. Suddenly, Dennis Smith Jr. is a starting NBA point guard after putting on weight to desperately try out for the NFL. But in his 4th start against the champs, Dennis had the ball down 2 with 26 seconds left and did this.
They're on their feet. Dennis Smith Jr.
You know what's crazy? He did this against us too. The Knicks, the game before. We went to OT. I can't remember if we won or lost, but he hit the game tying shot against us as well.
He's got guts. Zero fear.
Then on the other end, he locked down Steph Curry to send the game to overtime. I know locked down Steph Curry is a strong statement. What else do you call that? The Hornets won that night. And the next game, he became the 3rd player this year to drop at least 15 points, 5 boards, and 5 steals, joining Jimmy Butler and DeJounte Murray. It looks like, as long as he can stay healthy, Dennis Smith
OG not did that yet?
down the backup
OG
point
getting
guard
10 steals a game.
His hometown team. He might revive his NBA career.
I had to work my ass off this summer, and you know, a lot of people are trying to say, oh, he shouldn't be in the league, this, that, and the third, and just having to tune all of that out and lock in and to be able to come in and execute and win a game against those guys, should that mean the world to me.
Now, I don't want this to sound like he's going to be a star like people predicted. The fact is, he has never developed a jump shot. Yes, he's made 8 of 18 threes so far this year, but that's never been his strong suit. Sometimes players get drafted high with elite skill, hoping, oh, they'll develop a shot in the NBA. It never happened. The Knicks even had their, quote, shot doctor try to fix his jumper, and it did not work. But the good news is, DSJ is one of the toughest defenders at his position.
I'm actually really happy he's mentioning all the stuff that like I thought was just going to be very niche stuff, niche Knicks stuff.
He can run an offense with very few turnovers, and that is a backup type player who stays in the league a long time, which is huge for a dude who was getting offers to play in Europe 2 months ago. His new head coach, Steve Clifford, said this: some guys figured it out late, some guys figured it out right away. He is a talented guy. Even though with the injuries, he's not like 24, right? He was. I don't see that he's doing anything he can't continue to do, frankly. And if that's true, we are witnessing the comeback of an NBA bust who honestly deserves it. I hope you enjoyed that feel-good video. Watch my most controversial video ever.
Hey, he was cooking with this video. Yeah, shout out to Dennis. I already talked enough about him. Shout out to Dennis. No. He the thing is too is that it's not even like when he said earlier about him being a top 10 pick or ranked prospect or whatever. The thing is with him too, it's not even like he was like Killian Hayes, where it was just bad like to start off his career. Like Dennis was genuinely really, really good in his first season, and then obviously second season, Luka, whatever, he gets traded. You know what I'm saying? So he was genuinely really, really good to start off his career. Or actually, was that his third? That was his third season, I believe. I don't know. What was the timeline? Wait, 2017, 18, 18, 19. So that was his second season he got traded. Yeah. He was genuinely really, really good. So he always had the talent. It just slight things. He also would make some bad decisions sometimes, but you could for sure get over that being a bench point guard. It's just the expectation of going from a franchise changing player to now being a bench player. That's the thing. And I also do think, I know he was saying that, like, planning to go for the NFL, but I think that was more of like an instinctive, like, human reaction thing to like, oh, like I'm just getting pissed off of being cut. But to be fair, aside from, well, the Knicks traded him. They said which I don't even remember him tearing his meniscus with the Pistons. That's a valid reason to trade him. And then he got hurt with I don't think the Blazers should have cut him, but the Blazers weren't competing anyways. And they probably weren't going to re-sign him because they're looking for, I mean, they could have kept him, whatever. He could have been fine for the team, but like, I don't know, whatever. That's just how it goes at that point. You've been on and off a bunch of teams, but he's definitely better than a lot of backup point guards in the league for sure. Or what, it just can be a fill-in guy at the end of the day. He deserves to be on a roster spot. So yeah.
I'm actually really surprised at the comments. It's shocking, actually, and
this could ruin Kyrie's career featuring. Oh man. Yeah. So that's it. Shout out to AM Hoops.